It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10. It's glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes that glow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10. It's glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes that glow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door.
And we're back.
Hey guys, what's up? 3 Days of Horror here. I'm Worm Boy.
Damien.
And Toots. And today we're going to be talking about Krampus.
Krampus.
Or Krampus, however you want to pronounce it.
Krampus or Krampus?
It's either way.
Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus. When did you guys see this movie? I barely saw it yesterday.
I saw it last week.
I actually saw it in the theater when it came out. When I saw the preview, I was really anticipating the movie, so because it looked like an actual scary movie when I saw the preview. I didn't realize it was like a horror comedy. So I think I went like the first opening Friday. I went to see Krampus.
Krampus.
You can say Krampus. It doesn't matter.
Krampus. Well, the reason he's saying it like that is because the grandma that comes out right is German.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's pretty much telling the little kid like, oh, you know the story of Krampus, and she only talks in German. But then towards the end of the movie, well, there's gonna be spoilers. You haven't seen it. She actually talks in English. I'm like, what? Why did you say this before?
Even the aunt is like, oh, English, okay. Yeah, like now she's speaking it. But I'm sure we can relate to this because you know, instead of German, like I speak to my dad like in English, he'll respond to me in Spanish and I just talk to him in English.
Yeah.
And in this movie it's kind of like that except in German, where the main character, do you remember the name of the kid? The main character? Max or
Max.
Max.
Yeah, it's Max.
Where Max is talking to the grandma and the grandma speaks to him in German and he speaks to her in English, and that's how they communicate. Same thing with the Adam Scott character.
Well, I guess so. It's obvious that the grandmother understands English.
Yeah,
Obviously, her native tongue is German.
Yeah.
Krampus.
So, yeah. The other thing that had me anticipating this movie was that it was directed by Mike Dougherty, who directed Trick or Treat, which I think is a really underrated horror anthology.
That one I still need to. I've seen bits and
That
pieces,
movie's
but I haven't
good.
seen the whole
Trick
thing.
or Treat.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's underrated. I know it had some like production issues. Like it came out like 3 or 4 years after it was filmed. Like they weren't able to distribute it. I don't know. But I guess Krampus. I guess like the easiest explanation for like the legend, the myth, the tale of Krampus is like he's the flip side of Santa Claus. Like Santa Claus rewards kids that are good all year, and Krampus comes to punish children that have been bad.
He kills your family with a bunch of like puppet master looking hench puppets. I guess.
What was that thing he has? Like a hook or a chain with a hook?
It's like a chain. It's like a chain that he had.
Yeah.
So basically, like the plot of Krampus, the movie, is very similar to Home Alone. I actually think, like, it starts off like the typical like Halloween. It starts off like the typical Christmas family get together, like all the annoying family members show up and there's the bickering and there's, the tension. And then what sets the main character Max off is he always writes a letter to Santa every year, and his two tomboy cousins steal his letter, and just to humiliate him, they read it out loud at the dinner table in front of everybody, and that's what kind of like, that's like the last nail on the coffin that just like kills his holiday spirit in a sense. So he runs upstairs frustrated, he takes the letter and he tears it up and he throws it out the window instead of sending it to the North Pole. So then by him doing that, I guess he was the last one in the family that still had like, the holiday spirit. So then Krampus and his minions show up, which by the way, like this was a low budget movie and just about everything was like practical effects with the minions and with Krampus himself, and so I really respect that.
Yeah.
And I think it made it better actually.
I thought it was really good, the practical effects.
Yeah, like if they would have had the money to do a lot of digital, CGI effects, I think the minions would have been like.
It would have looked phony.
Yeah.
But in the movie, well, as Damien mentioned, that Krampus shows up to punish bad children. In this case, in the movie, it's more like he punishes people that have lost the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
Which at that point Max did. He got fed up and he kind of blew up at everybody. David Koechner comes out. He's the uncle, and he's the douchiest, one of the douchiest roles. That's what
character though.
But I do like. I didn't like him at first because that's the purpose of it.
Yeah, but then he kind of.
Yeah, he does kind of reconcile with the Adam Scott character, and he tries to work together. The only part that kind of not upset me, not in terms of like the movie itself, more just the characters, is just that the David Koechner character, listens to the story that the grandma is saying, and then he's like, "Do you believe this horse shit?" And it's like, well, you've experienced all this. How do you explain all the stuff that you experienced before, where his vehicle gets destroyed, and then this fireplace at a neighbor's house is completely destroyed? So that I was kind of like, really, you can't just accept kind of that story.
I know.
That might be true.
Yeah, like the possibility that it might be true.
Well, that was.
I think maybe at that point he probably did know it was kind of like true, but he didn't want to accept it because he was probably scared. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I could kind of see it like that.
Because he was like kind of avoiding it in a way, I think.
Well, yeah. I've read things online, and when I saw the movie, I didn't really see this because I don't tend to like get into like politics very much, but it's like the Adam Scott character, and then what was the actor, the uncle?
David Koechner.
David Koechner, like they never say it like flat out, but there's kind of like that tension that Adam Scott's more like a white collar guy, whereas the uncle's more the rough and tumble blue collar guy. And he's the NRA guy. He's all into guns. And
it's a big truck.
And he's got the big Hummer, like so.
Yeah, but
but I've read online like it's that whole like some people read into it that like Adam Scott's character was kind of like we're not really for guns and we're more like a peaceful family, but yet when all those minions and start showing up and everything, they're happy as shit that they have all those firearms and stuff. So.
Yeah, which earns the respect of the David Koechner character.
Yeah.
Well, because I think what earned the respect was when he saved him, when Krampus was dragging him under the snow.
Yeah. So
and he got bit, right?
See, and that scene that you're talking about. That's a good example of like an actually tense and scary scene. In
yeah,
this
that
movie.
scene was scary.
Like because anything like. like I've mentioned before, how I'm terrified of sharks. Like you can't see what that little demon, whatever it is that's under the snow. You just see it kind of like forming the trail, the snake trail, as it's chasing him.
Yeah.
And it grabs a hold of the uncle character and starts dragging him away, and Adam Scott has to save him. Like, and that's actually scary because you know, like that thing can move like fast through the snow, but they're humans, so you know it's harder for them to run through like 4 feet of snow. You know.
Yeah, and so the David Koechner character, I'm trying to remember his name, and the family show up, and you know the Christmas dinner is a disaster. Max blows up at them, tells them he hates everybody, you know, essentially tells them to go to hell, and then rips up the letter, the Santa letter. I guess Krampus hears this, and he shows up a little bit later, within a few minutes. And then, as they're trying to find Adam Scott's daughter that went to a boyfriend's house that lives, you know, a few houses down, and they couldn't find her, she becomes one of the first victims of Krampus and his minions. And then it's just a matter of them kind of trying to find her and then hunkering down at their house. Then the electricity is completely off. There's no reception, which, thinking of how the ending is, that kind of explains quite a bit in terms of the loss of the electricity, the cell reception, communication, like everything. Like looking back on it now, I was like, okay, you know what? That actually kind of explains all that. You know, if you think about it, the way the ending is, which we'll get into in a bit.
And that was another scene that when I saw it in the theater, like that scene was scary to me. Like and that was one thing I couldn't understand. Like Adam Scott plays the father and Toni Collette plays the mother. There's like this full on like blizzard outside, and then Adam Scott's just kind of like, she'll be fine. Let's just let our daughter go walking down the street like in this blizzard.
Yeah,
I was kind of like,
I think he was just trying to be cool.
Like, I don't know if they would actually have done that in a real life situation, but that scene where she's walking before she gets under the truck, like she like takes refuge under a truck, and they show Krampus like leaping from rooftop to rooftop on the houses, and he's like leaping across the street and like over the houses. Like, that looked scary to me. Like, I would have shit my pants. Like, that was good.
Yeah, and then you see the Jack in the Box right there, and it pops open. And was it Krampus that drags her, or is it whatever was in the Jack in the Box that drags her?
I don't know. They don't really show it.
Yeah.
Like, but what particularly popped out from that scene to me was when Krampus was leaping from like rooftop to rooftop, following her, and she started running.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that looks scary. Because I mean, he's an imposing like character. Like Krampus is a big, you know, demon, whatever he is, but he's able to like, he's very nimble. He's like leaping across the street from one rooftop to the other, and like that scene just got me. Like, I was like, that's scary.
Yeah, and
what I liked about the movie that really creeped me out was the snowmen. At first, I didn't know what they were, but I don't know if you guys thought the same. They were the people, right, that he was killing, or no?
I think so.
You know what I mean? Like he killed them.
Like they represented.
Yeah.
I think so. I want to say yes.
And see, in the trailer, that's the scene that looked really creepy to me, where the whole family's like gathered around the window, like looking out into their yard, and they just see all these snowmen.
Yeah.
They're like, we didn't build these. Like,
yeah, like the kid.
but the snowmen are facing the house, like looking at them.
Yeah,
and that's what they were like. That scene scared me in the trailer. Like,
and what really creeped me out, you know, about the movie is I liked the way Krampus looked. He actually looked pretty cool, you know. Technical difficulties with the cats.
But remember the thing you said, Damon, earlier? Like, you like Krampus, but the face was just like weird.
Yeah, like all the practical effects, like all of his demons looked cool. Like, and he looked scary and imposing, like physically imposing. I liked like the hoofed feet and the But for some reason, like the entire and I mean like every shot where they show his face, which I don't even think it's not until like towards the end of the movie, like Krampus is just like,
Yeah, he's just like stuck.
Yeah.
and his face never changes. It's like he's stuck, like he had a stroke, like he just. And I was just kind of like, yeah, like this is the guy, like this is the king badass of the movie.
No,
Why do you
But-
think they
but-
had it like that? Though?
But like I said,
I
like
don't know. That's the
I-
only thing that took me out of the movie.
I thought he looked cool. He looked very imposing. But the thing that really creeped me out about the movie were some of the minions, especially like that doll face with the wings.
Oh, that was creepy.
Yeah, that one was creepy. That what looked like a toy soldier with the jaw that looks like the vampires from Blade 2 that
Yeah.
pops open like
That
that.
one was scary. That
Yeah.
one was scary.
The teddy bear with all the teeth.
Gingerbread man.
Yeah, the gingerbread men were.
To me, that scene with the gingerbread man reminded me of what's that movie called? The Evil Dead,
Oh, you mean like
like
when
that
the
kind of
little
animation.
Yeah. And see, that was like effects, right? Like that was they used like CGI in that
Mhm.
scene.
I
like-
don't know if they did. I mean, they could have used stop motion.
But it didn't. It,
No,
it looked like
no,
it was like
you-
CGI.
No, you would know stop motion. Like,
And that scene was good. It was like intense. It was like it was like an action scene, but it was like
I thought it was funny.
yeah, like that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It was funnier like than the other scenes where they're getting attacked by the different minions. Like that one was just it was like it was action, whatever, you know, it was intense, but it was comical. Like
yeah, because I think that like to me it looked like a toy soldier. That thing with the jaw that pops open. It might have been a clown. I'm not sure. I just know that it looked creepy as hell.
I think it was like a mixture of those two things.
Mhm.
Like the mouth, like the nutcracker, and the predator, like
Yeah,
raw.
yeah, like that looked pretty cool. I'll give it that.
Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention about this movie was like it seemed like the way that Mike Dougherty shot the opening credits. That it was the
was funny.
opening credits are like a separate production. Like, and I kind of like when like when movies do that. Like, it's like the whole Black Friday, like Christmas shopping, like crazy atmosphere kind of thing. Like the security guards like tasing the people, but it's like in slow motion,
Yeah,
and people fighting over Christmas gifts and TVs, and
Yeah.
and then when that giant security guard, that chick is like dragging two people out, like.
yeah, with a Christmas song playing.
Yeah, and it has like this nice, you know, like wholesome Christmas
It's
song
a Bing
playing.
Crosby song, I think,
Yeah,
and it's very wholesome, you know. But it's
But-
just so
and
ironic.
yeah.
It's so contrast to what's happening on the screen. And I remember I first saw that, and I was just cracking up, because I was like, yeah, that looks about right. Yeah.
and then right towards the end of the opening credit scenes, it like actually goes into the narrative of the whole movie, where you see Max getting beat up, like in line waiting to meet Santa, I think.
Yeah.
And the older sister is just like being a prick to him, like you see her filming it with her cell phone, like. So then you understand when they get home, you understand why Max is already pissed off, like, and then he just gets pushed over the edge by the tomboy cousin.
Yeah.
But like I said, like, I like this movie as a horror movie. Like, there's not many Christmas themed horror movies that I like Silent Night, Deadly Night, maybe is the other one. But it's hard for me to stay awake during this movie because it's like a snowed in movie. Like every scene the family's like all bundled up in blankets, sitting around like drinking hot cocoa by the fire, and it's just kind of like when you're trying to watch it, like
Makes you want to do that.
you just start like dozing.
Mhm.
It's not, and not saying that it's a bad movie, like, but I just started like dozing off.
Yeah, I actually, like, when I saw it yesterday, I actually dozed off at some point. Not because it was boring. I was actually tired from work. But, yeah, you're right in terms of, like, you see, like, the hot cocoa and then the fireplace, you know, and and everything, and then you feel kind of relaxed, and then you just kind of fall asleep, and it, and of course I was tired from work, like I said, so I was watching it, and I woke up maybe like an hour later. I had to rewind whatever I missed, and then I had to watch it again,
And then,
but it's not the movie. It's not the movie. It's just circumstance.
I thought the movie was good. I mean, it kept me up. I saw it all without falling asleep. Not because I was tired when I was watching it, but it was pretty fun. I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was all right.
you know what we have to mention? Like, we haven't mentioned I think our character is Omi, the grandmother character. Like, we have to, like, talk about that character for a second, because she was like the character in the horror movie, like the mysterious older character that knows something,
That
like,
speaks in different.
that's been through
Times.
this before. They kind of hint at, like, she knows what's going on. And for a while in the movie, it seemed like she might be kind of sinister, like she's keeping a secret from the rest of the family. Like, it turns out she wasn't, but they kind of like
Made it seem like
they
she
made
was.
it seem like that.
Yeah, it made it seem like she was the one that actually summoned
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Krampus.
Like she might have been like in cahoots with Krampus and his minions.
Yeah.
And I did like the way that Mike Doherty decided to shoot when she's telling the whole family, like, the legend.
It's all
of
animated.
Krampus, and it's all animated. Like, I thought that was cool. I thought that kept, like, the mystique, mystery, like, myth, legend type of feel, as opposed to if they actually would have, like, shot a period piece to, like, show her experience when she had encountered Krampus when she was young in Germany. So I liked that part of the movie. Like, I thought that was cool, because
Yeah, when they showed that scene, for a second I thought that the whole reason Krampus showed up was not so much because, well, this is a dysfunctional family and Max, to a certain extent, wished for this to happen. But I actually thought it was something like Krampus found out where she was just to finish the job from when she was a kid.
yeah, and they kind of hinted at that too.
Yeah.
Like, he had unfinished business with that family. Like, and I guess up until that point, Max was like keeping them safe, because he was like, he wasn't giving up on the holiday spirit. But then that year, they just finally pushed him over the edge.
Yeah, nobody was grateful for what they had.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very dysfunctional scene. The whole Christmas dinner thing. And then another character I liked was the aunt character. Where she's just, she'll drink in front of the children, and she doesn't like children, and I think at one point she's like, okay, I'll be in the kitchen, I'm gonna teach them how to make peppermint schnapps or something like that.
Yeah. Was she the one, the actress, the chubby one from Edward Scissorhands?
I think so.
Yeah, she
I think
had.
so.
She had one of my favorite lines in the movie when she first walks in the house and she says, "Oh God, it looks like Martha Stewart threw up in here."
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I thought there were times where her character was like a little bit grating, because that's how the characters are, especially from that side of the family. Where they're trying to get the kids into the kitchen, and like, and Toni Collette, the mother, is asking, like, can you please go into the kitchen, with the kids? What? Why? I don't like kids. And like, please. That was like one little instance where I'm just like, stop being a douche and just, go into the kitchen. But other than that, like, for the most part, I had fun watching this character, where she just didn't care. She's talking about being hungover, and like, just typical.
And you kind of
typical
knew,
aunt that's just cynical.
and you knew for sure that she was gonna be one of the people that was gonna bite it at some point. Like, and I had never really seen. I don't think Adam Scott has ever been in a horror movie, but like, I know Toni Collette. Of course, she's the mother in The Sixth Sense. And she's the mother in the Fright Night remake. She didn't have much to do in that movie, but like, I think they're both really good actors, actresses.
And I don't even think David Koechner has come out in a horror movie. He's come out in a couple of like dark comedies and dramas. But
No,
I don't
I-
think he's ever come out in like an actual horror movie.
And his character, the uncle character, is the one, like, he's that character that you can't stand him at the beginning of the movie. Like,
but then he
and-
grows on
and
you.
he grows on you. You end up liking him by the end. You're actually like rooting for him at the end of the movie. He's like, and but they kind of present him a lot like Cousin Eddie from the National Lampoon's Vacation movies, like particularly National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, but I think with Cousin Eddie, it's a little bit different because.
Well, not exactly, but there's parallels.
Yeah,
Like-
there's where it's like that side of the family that's like, oh, really, they're here,
Yeah,
you know, where it's a little bit rough trying to, you know, have a vacation with for a few days, but unlike David Koechner's character, the uncle character, that, you know, is totally gung ho with guns and always putting Adam Scott's character down. Well, at the beginning, Cousin Eddie from National Lampoon's Vacation, well, Christmas Vacation for the most part, but he comes out in Vacation. I digress. He's a little more good-hearted. He's a little bit more well-intentioned, but he's still a bit obnoxious. You know, he's still that side of the family that's just like that, you know, live out where the buses don't run kind of thing. But I could see your point. I could see the parallels between the two characters. Like they're in contrast to a certain extent.
but if there's anyone that's the equivalent in Krampus, it's him.
Yeah.
Like,
And the family also to a certain extent.
but as a horror movie fan, I would strongly recommend Krampus around the holiday season, around the Christmas season.
Mhm.
Like it turned out to be different from what I expected when I saw the trailer, but it's still a fun like horror comedy to watch around Christmas time, and it's something that helps me get through the Christmas season while I'm waiting for the next Halloween season to roll around. So yeah, but like if I gave it a grade, it would be in the B range, like B minus to B plus, somewhere in there. I'm not sure, because I wouldn't give this movie like in the A's, but I wouldn't give it in the C's either. Like this movie's good. Like it's not great and it's not bad, but it's good. So it's in the B range somewhere. Like there'll be days I'll probably give it a B minus. There'll be days I'll probably give it a B plus. There'll be days I'll probably give it a B.
Are you saying that because you're scared that Krampus might come out?
Yeah. No. If that was the case, I'd be
Don't say
like
anything.
A plus is the greatest cinematic
No,
masterpiece ever.
I agree with you. I give it a B minus. It's not a horrible movie. It's not a really awesome movie either, but I think it's just right, you know. I didn't really find too many things I didn't like about it. You know, it fits the season. It's scary. It's funny. It's suspenseful in some parts, and you know, I do recommend it as well. I mean, it's a really good movie.
And as I said, I really love the throwback to, like you said, like the Evil Dead type of movies. Like
Yeah.
I love the throwback, how there's very little CGI in this movie. It's almost all practical effects.
Yeah, and it's a more natural.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
gives it a more natural vibe. Like,
Yeah.
Like, and it's like a throwback to the great horror movies. Like,
Yeah, I give this movie an F because I want to see you Krampus show up here. No, I'm kidding.
Are you sure?
No.
You wanna...
No, they're gonna show up here at your house, not at my house. I'll be here, so you're gonna have to deal. You're gonna have to deal with them. No,
I'm like Krampus, he said it.
yeah.
Yeah, Christmas is coming soon. So
Go to his house.
Yeah.
About a week or so.
No, I give the movie. I enjoyed the movie. I give it like a B minus to a B. I pretty much agree with both of you, where it wasn't great, it wasn't bad. Like it was good. Something you could just put on. Would I have seen it in the theater? Maybe, maybe not. I would have waited till Netflix or on demand or something, which I did.
Oh, and now that you mentioned that, actually, before I even saw this one, I thought it was on Hulu, and me and my fiance were like, we put it on, and we're like, and Damien, you had told us that like, oh, it's a pretty good movie. It's not the best, you know.
Well, it's because I had.
And I was like, what the hell was Damien thinking? Like, this movie sucks.
Because the thing is, like I had said, well, it's the Christmas holiday season, so you know, we're the three dudes with horror, so we should review Krampus. So they found one of those cheap knockoff movies, like Krampus Nightmare or something like that, thinking that was the actual Krampus movie.
Yeah.
And they watched it, and that was the misunderstanding.
I actually didn't watch the whole. We didn't watch the whole thing. We watched like 10 minutes in, and we're like, maybe we can watch something else.
I actually want to see this movie now. I actually want to, out of morbid curiosity, I want to check it out.
Nah, don't waste your time.
My wife and I actually watched the first Ginger Dead Man.
Oh God.
With Gary Busey.
Yes, it's like another holiday crappy horror movie, which is like a total knockoff, rip-off of Child's Play.
Yeah,
Seriously, like Gary Busey's like this gangster dude that like they make a gingerbread man and he possesses him or something, and it's even his voice, just like Brad Dourif in the Child's Play movies.
Yeah,
Like this little ginger dead man comes to life, and he's
with
like
big teeth.
yeah. And it's Gary Busey's voice, like, and there's this whole series of like lame ginger dead man movies. Like it's not just one. Like
it's horrible.
Oh yeah, I actually do want to see that movie that Worm Boy was watching. I'll watch it when Krampus shows up here. He'll probably watch it and say, you know what, they've done enough damage.
Hey, he's not gonna show up here. He's gonna show up in your house.
No, he's gonna show up here. Show up here, Krampus.
See, I'm exempt. Like he won't touch me because I paid for his movie. I bought the Blu-ray.
All right, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
Fuck.
like we're safe in this house.
I
I still believe in the Christmas spirit. I still think there's Santa
I do
Claus.
to a certain extent.
He still exists to me, damn it.
He's still real to you, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Halloween, and things like Krampus help me get through this season. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So that's Three Dudes of Horror review of Krampus. I don't know what the hell.
Krampus.
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 So, if anyone else likes to like bundle up with some hot cocoa or whatever and watch this during the Christmas season, like throw us a comment, let us know your thoughts, like whatever we talked about, whatever we missed, whatever about this movie. So we are the Three Dudes of Horror, like the Three Amigos.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are the Three Dudes of Horror.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Well, yeah. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Enjoy it, or Krampus will come after you.
Yeah, watch the movie. So
don't make fun of his movie.
So I'm Worm Boy.
Damien.
And Toots. And we'll see you later.
Yes.